So we're live right
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Black Light Show. I'm here with Marcus Smith with the
now.
book
What's going on? What's
Satorian.
going on?
Yes, and we're about to get it in and get it going. So we're gonna talk about belief in spirituality. That's where we were at, and you were discussing about belief and about spirituality. Some of the beliefs that you came upon, and then how you came back around and how you were able to tap into, I'll say, different elements or different parts of the belief system as well as the spirituality within oneself. So would you like to elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, most definitely. I know we were in a crunch for time last time. Who is bumping music like that? Jesus Christ. Someone had some subs around here. That's crazy. Loud
You
as
know how
hell.
it is. Young
Yeah,
people.
you can probably hear it too. Damn, that's crazy. But sorry about that. Someone has subs. That shit is loud. I can feel it vibrating. But last time, yeah, I didn't have so much time, you know what I mean? We got to the very end, but there's still a few things I wanted to go over.
Sure.
We ended kind of right where I was telling you guys about my psychic folly, to where, I was doing this incredible work, and yet I didn't know when you're working questions about the unknown world, right? You're only gonna get what's in your mind. And for people doing that kind of work, that's a big thing to understand there, because I'm sure a lot of remote viewers and people doing different psychic type things, whatever you want to call it, many of them probably don't know the extent of that. But after doing so much work, that's just something I actually found out in the very end. And that's kind of when I had my awakening. So I wanted to read a page here out of my book to get us started. Can you hear those subs?
Yeah. No, I can't hear the sounds. I can hear you. I can only hear
Okay,
you.
cool. Oh, I see the dude that's doing it. Okay, cool. Hopefully it leaves soon. So just a page out of my book here to get us started. It wouldn't be true or correct to speak about the good and not the bad. This is an incredible story of truth that sheds light on what a complete force of belief can do. Understand, if you start a spiritual journey of the soul or mind, you'll become that of what you know and seek. I would encourage others to look around and recognize any voluntary illusions that they might be in. What beliefs do you have that may need more seeking? In all matters of afterlife and the unknown, mine is a blank canvas. What will you paint on it? I opened the door into my psyche, walked to the edge of a cliff, and jumped off. Through this process, I saw several limitations around me in the way of cultural thought. I was able to do so many incredible acts that defied normal logic. Remember, within this state of mind, belief is unbreakable until you come out of your senses, of course. Many will ask, how long will it take to have this awakening? For some people, they take their illusions to the grave, and for others, they seek to break belief. I sought out the important questions and created proof myself in the most roundabout way. So that's just kind of one of the pages in my book. And just kind of sitting here today, I don't subscribe to all the same beliefs that I once did, but however, my force of belief during that time on my voluntary psychosis, gave me certain insights into the brain and overall consciousness. And the crazy thing about mine is, I gave you all the good stuff that happened, all the bad stuff that happened, all while I was under this kind of voluntary psychosis. But during this whole time, and I kind of want to expound on what I'm doing in life currently, kind of how I think, and we're kind of move into that. But in life and belief, it's all about intention. Intention, intention, intention. what is your intention when you're doing different things? Throughout this journey, my intention was to find the truth, and I got there in the most roundabout way, but even in the beginning, all I wanted to know was the truth to these mysteries regarding the outside world, creation. I want to know if aliens were true. I wanted to, know which religion at the time was the correct religion per se. I was just on the journey to where I just needed to know these things. Yeah, let's see. And with all the work that I was doing at the time, of course, I explained that remote viewing, even though that's a key part of this and it's an amazing aspect, that's not even the main thing about my journey. Again, it's just how deep I got into my belief and what I was able to achieve out of that. It's like, how would you actually feel if you believed in aliens, or if you actually believed, that the devil was coming after you? So when you try to understand that force of belief, that's where I was during this time, just so you could get a sense of it. But once you fully believe, that's kind of when the magic happens. Whether you're going crazy or whether you're creating different things around you, I don't know, but that's where that magic comes from, is through a force of belief.
Question to
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So would you say that belief is a construct of mankind, that we as of humans have created different structures of belief that has, okay, we as man created structures of belief that has impacted other people to have their mindsets focus on that belief system in a sense, and not necessarily.
And out of that belief system they create.
Yeah, but now it gets even deeper, because then that means that you created that God. You created that whole imagery, or we can't say, well, that imagination of the power of God, or the power of that religion, or the power of that, like individually, because whatever is given to you, you take upon that and create that world in your head. Is that where you're coming from?
Yes, exactly. Anytime you're on a path of, religious belief and you're deep in it, you can't help but to be split in two, kind of like I was speaking about earlier in the first half. But, it's this soul, spirit aspect and myself. So anytime you successfully created that, then you successfully gotten into this voluntary psychosis, as I coined it earlier. And the whole thing about this is belief is not a bad thing. It's not bad to, believe in, certain religions, and it's just synonymous with culture. But for me, and what my intention was to simply find the truth. I wanted the truth, if there was ever truth, but I was towards that direction. But yeah, it's the splitting of of yourself,
right?
And once you get deep in that, then you can kind of go down some dark tunnels, if you will. And that's where I went. But yeah, through whatever you're believing in, you kind of create the world around you. And it took me forever to kind of go through my journey. And I really started to understand at the very end that everything I was doing was basically all in my own head from all the people that I've been listening to and everything like that. But it was through all those that I listened to and gave credence to that I had all this information in my head. And essentially from there, everything else happened. Now the way I got out of this whole crazy thing in my head and everything that was going on, the way I got out of it was an English professor by the name of Alan Watts. So this was kind of like the last person I listened to, because I was listening to the channelers. I was, reading everything about Jesus. I was thinking about aliens and devils, all that stuff before. But then I got to the point of listening to this English philosopher, Alan Watts, and he had a great way of putting everything in perspective for me, because by his words, it was certain that he had gone through this same type of journey of the mind and the soul, spirit, and just belief that I did. And once he put certain things in perspective, and he was well versed in theology, Eastern religions, even religions of the Western world, hence kind of where I got the name Western Psychic Satori. That's a name you won't ever hear anywhere else. And the reason why it's Western, because I had a chance through this journey, of a year, to break down all my beliefs about the Western world. And then also during that time, I learned about Eastern cultures and religion through Alan Watts. So I named it Western Psychic Satori. Satori is like, Eastern word for awakening. So I kind of mixed those two, Western, and the Eastern world. And then of course, psychic. So it all made sense to me at the time. And it was just a perfect name to, go with the journey that I went on. But
that's interesting. Now, the reason why it's interesting from psychic from an Eastern point of view, and I guess when we use the word psychic, it has somewhat of those taboos,
negative connotation.
and I think in tune. I would say in tune would be somewhat that you're in tune with yourself. You have a clarity of where you are and oneself, because it is interesting how, like how you were saying, like the belief system of the aliens, the devils, and all that. But remember, you had that same belief system all at one time, because you know what I'm saying?
It was kind of in stages during this whole 9-month period, because my 175 questions that I had was answering all those mysterious, outworldly, questions that I wanted answers to. So I was doing all those that were mixed up. Thus, I was getting all this information. But yeah, it was kind of all at once. It was kind of in sections based off of who I was listening at the time. And it's a matter of just taking all this information in from other people about the outside world. And once you're in a heavy state of belief, you soak all that in, and eventually that's all you know. So you definitely gotta be careful who you give credence to.
Right, and I totally believe in that and understand that, because when we're amongst individuals, sometimes it's hard to communicate with people, because their belief systems and the things that's been put in their mind, and like we said, that is all at once, because it's things that you carried on from a childhood. It's things that you've learned as you were a teenager. Now you're an adult. There's all that information that is just pumped in your head. So you know, like almost like the Roger Rabbit, or putting on the metaverse glasses, and you're watching all this happen in
Yep.
reality at the same time. So it's from a psychological point of view, it is in a sense that you can be driven. This not We can't use the word crazy anymore, but you can be driven to have different beliefs and illusions. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of all this information that's been pumped into your head, that
Mm-hmm.
some things, you know, the road is real when you're in your car. But then
Yeah.
in your head, things could be on that road that you put there from your belief system that we've gathered from
Yes.
other people, you know, and then like you tapped on the spiritual,
Yeah.
well, let's say the in tune part of it, because that's what's interesting to me, because I do believe in the in tuneness
Yeah.
of things more than I
Yeah.
believe in a religious aspect of things, because it's like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Because when you're in tune, then you're able to do your remote, as you say, your distance, and you're able to tap into things that you naturally wouldn't. Or it is natural. It is natural. We've
Yeah.
just been
Everyone could do it.
confused. You know what I'm saying? We've just been channeled out of a real natural state of being.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like, so out of your questions, what were the answers to some of the mysteries? You know what I'm saying? What were the true answers
The
that you got?
answer, so kind of like I was saying before, I had all this information just like we were explaining. So, or just like you were saying, so all this information in my head, and I was basically attacking all those questions aggressively.
Mhm.
And I've already had specific beliefs about these things. Kind of like I was saying when I did is Jesus the Son of God?
Right.
When I did my session, it played out just like the Bible. Why? Because that is all that I know in my head.
Mhm.
And it was just like that for everything else. I was studying ancient civilizations and all this stuff. My brain was, going crazy. But all those questions, I did them correctly, straight up. And again, once you get the information back with the question there that you didn't know that you were working, is an amazing process. But yeah, that information you get back on the unknown is everything that's in your head, which is the crazy part about it. So
Yeah. Now,
kind of
now
go
with
ahead.
that, do because when you look at these, is interested to say like, well, maybe the same people that made religions at that time and was coming up
Mhm.
with the concepts and their belief systems, is maybe we all went through the same process.
Mhm.
It's questioning something that we really don't know from something that we have that started something. Like the
Mhm.
process of the things that came into your mind started from somewhere. It may start from an
Mhm.
elder, it may start from someone your age, it might even start from a young person that may ask you something or may bring to your attention something that you wasn't aware of, but it's not necessarily, it's a belief. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily concrete reality, because like a
Mhm.
reality is a rock, and you could do
Yeah.
harm with that rock, or you could
Yeah.
build a road with that rock or a home with that rock, but it's still a rock, but just in a different form. You see
Yes.
what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
and tapping into your own spirituality, where are you at now with it?
Yeah, perfect. So where I'm at right now, and that's kind of exactly where I was getting into here. Let's go here. So, in terms of religious organizations or beliefs, I don't hold any of those. But it's like, what does it mean that all cultures around the world have different stories of creation? It's like that is the question. Kind of like I was saying earlier, religion is just basically synonymous with culture. What would have happened if, a certain war, or what do they call a certain what do they call that? I thought I had that here. Well, what would happen if a certain war was won instead of another one? We would, maybe the Western world would be kneeling on their knees at noon. So it's all just based on culture. That tells me that there's no specific, answer or truth when it comes to God. But, I do understand that there's this kind of connective continuity between, all humans, known as our consciousness. But it's hard to, have any specific religious beliefs, anything like that nowadays. Kind of like I was saying in the last one, I don't believe in the character version of God, that everyone believes in, and that version of God, can be good for people, because belief can help you in life. So if you choose, a specific religion for yourself, great. But my intention being brought up, in Christianity and having a whole bunch of questions, even when I was young, for myself, that wasn't good enough for me. I wanted to know the truth. I just didn't want to believe aimlessly in this or that. I wanted to know the truth. So again, in a roundabout way, I did by inspecting all religions, all cultures. You basically get to the understanding of what I was saying for. So that basis, all cultures around the world, there's so many different religions, there's so many belief systems. The outside world again is a blank canvas. How will you paint on it? What colors are you going to use? It's all up to you. But once you have a type of spiritual journey, once you're in sync, once you kind of have a good understanding of these things, and you don't even have to necessarily go on the type of journey that I did of forcible belief to get to the understanding that, religion is synonymous with culture. And pretty much that's it, in a nutshell. Now,
yeah.
I'll
Now,
just say the way I live going now, but yeah, go ahead.
so what I was because we started putting things together from this aspect. You start to look at the different things that are going on in the world. Like you see the rise of Islam in terms of like more and more people are becoming Muslim, and
Yeah.
just day by day. But then at the same time, you do have a major shift of people that are becoming in tune. So there you have that shift of, and it's almost like an Eastern type of, like, I remember practicing and studying martial arts. So it's more so that being in tune with oneself, being so aligned with one, that I'm in myself and that I could recognize things, say for instance, from a samurai or ninja mindset of that. Even the trees, you're so in tune with your environment that even you could understand the trees movement, that you're so aligned with the wind, with the water, with everything, and that total in attunement with oneself. And I think that's where a lot of people are really leaning towards. And then they do have, the rise of the Islam belief system as the one God. But I see that people are tapping into themselves more.
Exactly. And that's good.
Yeah, and that's how you're able to do like what you do, the remote,
Yeah.
and then also the spiritual aspect of in tuneness, and not just saying like, okay, well, God, that as you were saying, um, that Santa Claus almost type of God, meaning to say that the naughty
Yeah.
or nice. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. And it just seems like ridiculous to be this far along. We're in 2022 and people still hold these same beliefs, about heaven and it's just hell. It's just hard to hold on to now myself after going through everything I went through and seeing everything. There's no way of going back to it. You know what I mean? Once you see
Yeah,
everything for what it is.
yeah,
But
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
I had I don't know if it's a privilege or opportunity, um, or what to call it, when you see people in their final moments as they transcend.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, you have a chaplain come in, or you might have a person of a different religion, an imam, come in,
Mm-hmm.
or different people come in. And then I'll be honest with you, where I've experienced people at their last moments, that
Mm-hmm.
really isn't on their mind, heaven and hell. That concept
Yeah.
of heaven and hell really isn't on their mind. Like, am I going to heaven or am I going to hell? It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
like I want to live another day. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not like that. And it's not like they're more so scared of the heaven or hell concept. It's more so that I want to live another day. I don't want to go out this way. You know what I'm saying? That most people, they just want
Mm-hmm.
to transcend throughout their, old age is sleep. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just so amazing, when you do come to that threshold of like, okay, do I really believe in it or not, when that preacher is there for those final moments. And
Yeah.
yeah, because like that's where we at in terms of our belief system. It's almost at that final moment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like whether we really believe in it, or whether it's being in tune with myself, or whether it's just having none of the above and just being out here and just living,
Mm-hmm.
surviving,
Yeah.
yeah, so it is. So where is the future for yourself? Because you
Yeah.
control that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's specifically, what I want to get into, because it's like after going through uh this mental journey, this spiritual journey, you kind of learn a lot, and
Mhm.
kind of, what you believe in. But at the end of the day, there's these things that I live by now, and things that I do just basically to live my life better, because I know the power of mind. So it's like, what do I believe in now? I believe in myself. All
Mhm.
right. I believe in, I call it connective continuity, because I understand that all beliefs are not our own. And it was hard to come across that understanding. But through the time cross projections, we're going to get into this real quick, to where those were the ones that I do the session, then I come see you and say, okay, give me a person dead or alive. And then I hand you the paper, and then you say, wow. So if we could talk about that for a second, in that scenario, what is happening there? Once I do my session, I do, okay, I'm going to go to Shiki at 12 o'clock today, and he's going to give me a destination that he wants to visit. All right, I do all my work. I write everything down. And then you don't even know I'm going to call you. I call you at 1. and say, okay, give me the, what's the destination that you want to visit? Or it could be any question, a person dead or alive, whatever, it doesn't matter. You give me the information, you tell me who or whatever, and I hand you the information that I wrote down and it's all correct. So in that situation, what is going on? Am I reading your mind or influencing like your thoughts? Like what is happening in that exchange where I'm able to gather information before? It's like, what does that mean? Like, how is that information? Like, I never really could understand how it's possible, but there's some kind of connection there. Like, how do you think it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is that me reading your mind, or am I pushing you towards coming to a certain answer? You know what I mean? What would you think if I'm doing it before? It's hard to say.
I would now be a truth to that, and hearing you loud and clear. I had a few, I guess, episodes of life and death, so, either people shooting at you or even car accidents. But I did notice something.
Yeah.
I did notice something. It's something in us innately that is before us. Meaning like, not you don't know, but you have a feeling before something happens.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you see it with the animals, like all of a sudden you'll be watching wildlife TV, and then all of a sudden the animals are just eating, and then all of a sudden they change, and before you know it, a lion is around, and then they just feel it.
Before you even way out.
Yeah. So I do believe that it is something that is before us. Like you said, maybe you're able to tap into that path that is seconds, minutes, or even days ahead of us, or just a moment just ahead of us. Because I used to box, it is sometimes you're able to move before that punch happens. You're able to, but
the unconscious mind, because you do so much practicing and the unconscious mind is ahead of you.
Yeah. But then it's something that's outside of us that's ahead of us, that somewhat protects us, that somewhat keeps us alive in danger. I guess, like I said, I've been shot at, I've been almost
like instincts.
Yeah, but it's like before your instincts happen. You know what I'm saying? It's that gray area that maybe you're able to tap into before something happens. And we've met other people that are able to tap into that. Maybe we call it psychic, but they're in tune, that they could actually tell you something in the future that may be coming up.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? Like, you may be able to tap in and say, like, hey, Sheik, look out for something like this that might be coming up. And I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then a day or two later, it may be revealed to me like, oh, this is exactly. What Mark was talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that is amazing what you're saying of being able to tap into that. And like you said, whether they are alive or dead. So that is amazing, because majority of people haven't gotten there in life yet.
Well, what I'm saying with that question, I just say, name a person, anyone alive or dead, and they have to give me any name. And the reason why I kind of bring that up is just to kind of show the power of the mind. The whole thing is in life, get your intention, understand what you want to do, and then put a strong belief behind it. And this can go for anything. If you're about to do a job interview, every step along the way, set your intentions, believe that, all right, this is going to be a great job interview. Okay, I'm going to make them smile. I'm going to be funny. We're going to be able to relate. So you say all these things prior, all right, and you believe it. And the more and more you do this, everything aligns up for you. And that's basically how I go forward living my life. You know, the more you speak what you want into existence, the more you write it down, it happens. You know, what you want happens. Now, of course, this is not for anyone that's going to be lazy or not committed towards working towards goals, right? You can't just say, whatever, I want $1 million, you know, or I want to be a millionaire. You know, it's not going to work out. You know, what's your plan to be a millionaire? All right, right now I want to go to school for this. All right, and you have to designate out a plan. But once you have a good plan with a strong belief about it, you know, everything's going to come in order, you know, and it's going to line up for you. You just have to think that you can. Like, so if you never believed or never wanted to go to space, would you ever get there? No, you would not. But if you believed, you know, even from age 15 or whatever, that you wanted to go to outer space, you know, and you started thinking about that at that age, you may be making certain moves unconsciously at 15 years old. And then next thing you know, you meet so-and-so and so-and-so, and you got a free ticket to space with Jeff Bezos or something. You know, you just don't know how it's going to work. But with belief, intention, you can get there. If you ever even believe, you know, to get to space, there's no way you're going to get there. You know, Will Shatner, he just went to space, and he was on a whole bunch of, you know, he was on Star Trek and everything else. And in a roundabout way, you know, he got to space, you know, at basically the end of towards his life. So it's just that sort of thing, you know, and that's kind of how I live now. You know, right now I work and wife works, take care of kids. We have a great life. Right now, I want to change things up. So I want to get into real estate. So what I started doing, you know, I got everything for the real estate courses, studying every day, writing things down, and staying organized, you know, and I'm making goals little by little. So right now, I know I want to sell houses, or I know I want to make a lot of money selling houses, but my goal right now is just to pass the real estate exam. And I have on my board, all right, you will do what do I have? You will do a great job on the real estate exam. And it says, you know, you will get a top score. You know, so it's just about making those goals little by little, believing, doing the work. You know, I know how to study. I know what it takes. I'm committed to it, and I'm gonna get there. You know, and then once I pass that, then I'm gonna say, okay, now I need to get with a good brokerage, someone that's going to kind of show me the way as I'm learning this new adventure, give me a great opportunity. Someone's going to be flexible around my schedule, someone that, you know, so you're speaking all these things to existence. The power of the unconscious mind is where everything happens. So as you have this belief, same thing when, you know, remote viewing, I'm not doing anything. It's the unconscious mind when I'm silent and meditating. So with the belief, with the intentions, with setting things up every step of the way, you know, being positive, speaking it to existence. That's the magic, basically. That is the magic of the belief. And it seems, you know, just like words. But if someone starts doing that and subscribes to these things, you know, when you're setting goals, it's definitely going to help. So, and that's how I continue to live life now, basically.
Yes. Now, we have that in common. I definitely have that. If you believe you can achieve in common, and then as well as
Mom always told me that.
Yeah, put the work
Yep.
into it. Whatever you believe you can achieve, just put the work into it. It is going to happen. Your breakthrough will happen. The timing you don't know, but it will happen. You know. Now you tapped into something, which brings me to an in-depth question.
Yes, sir.
does existence last eternal for eternity, meaning infinite? Because like you said, well, name a person dead or alive. That means that they could have existed 2,000 years ago. They could have existed at any time in life, whether they transcended or,
Mm-hmm.
and if they're alive, they're in existence right now. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something, because I deal with people in that realm, that tapped into they call it the spiritual world. I call it a time of existence now.
I
You know
never
what I'm
tapped into anything dead. No, no one dead I've never tapped into. It was all alive. Anytime I got someone dead, just like the John Quincy Adams, right? So the
Right.
way the remote viewing works, I got all the facts on him on his Wikipedia page, basically in my head. So it's like,
Mhm.
if you give me a person now, I like, if we do this any session, I could go to Wikipedia in my head and get the picture off there. I can give you all the information on there. And that was one of my key tricks, because I always, it's kind of hard to explain, but exactly. So we go through this process, right? I, give me any person dead or alive. What I would do is connect in my head to the Wikipedia page, and I was able to all the picture from the Wikipedia page and then get all the information. Now, I'm not connecting to anyone. I'm not connecting to his spirit that's crossed over or nothing like that. When I say name any person dead or alive, I'm just giving you a whole bunch of facts about that person and drawing pictures and things like that. So myself, I've never connected into like this medium status, right? I'm not even
Yeah,
sure how
no,
much I
not
believe
not
in
not
that
from
or
that. Yeah, not from that. Not to talking to the spirits aspect, but
okay, okay.
from the aspect of the existence of
Yeah,
individuals. Maybe that never ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether they're
yeah.
famous
Now,
or not. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? So
Yeah, and I have a belief about that essentially, the whole thing what you're saying, like eternal, basically
right.
living.
Yeah, not
Now,
yeah.
we though, it's a weird answer to the questions, but this is how I approach it, because I really don't know what happens when you die or anything like that, but
Right.
I believe in energy, and you know so I can stomach having a belief about something beautiful when I die. The whole point, it doesn't make a difference. I'm not, but I wouldn't necessarily take a outlook on like hell or anything when I die, but only
Right.
everything positive, only everything. Like I wouldn't want to die in a horrible circumstance. I would want to
Right.
die in a nice circumstance. Because when you think about this thing about death, you can only think about all these shows about ghosts and shit, right? And
Right.
it's like, how is that? How are some people, they didn't pass on? But the thing is, we don't know.
Right. Exactly.
We don't know
Mhm.
how exactly that happens.
Mhm.
But so with that understanding, I kind of have my own positivity, and it's like I make your own magical place. Make your own magical place for when you die. I mean, that's the advice I would give, create your own awesome beliefs and whatever happens when you die, I guess. But because we don't know, I always want the
Yeah.
truth. So if it's not the truth, you know, it's hard to say, but again, positive things hopefully are to await us when we pass, and maybe maybe we exist still with our consciousness. But again, when you look at that aspect of ghost and all this other things that you see on TV that seem to be real, right?
Mhm.
Is maybe shit, I guess, if you don't pass, or maybe everyone passes, or
Mhm.
only some crossover. Who we don't know what happens, and
Well,
that's
yeah,
it's the interesting thing about death
yeah,
because we only see the ghosts. And I
yeah.
guess sometimes they have the happy stories about, leaving
But
pennies behind or whatever.
yeah, because like my background is motion picture production, so and then the psychology aspect of it, that it is all an illusion. It is
Yeah.
something that someone made up and they put it on the screen, and then our psyche makes it real. That's when that
Hmm.
belief comes in to say like,
Yeah.
okay, these aliens or something. That's when I come up with that idea. I put it out there, I make it visual, and then I've then tricked your mind. And from that, a belief system then been created, like Star
Yeah.
Wars and
Start
all that, the
start painting
Trekkies.
the canvas.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And yeah, but it is something there that we tapped into, like not necessarily that people are in like a spiritual world, but an existence that you just don't just disappear. That something is there of your essence still. It is here on the
And
planet.
I like that feeling, right? I would love
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
because like there's something still left behind. So that's why I push out
Yeah.
hope for. I'm not gonna say anything negative or I don't believe. All I believe what happens when you die is you don't feel nothing. I don't know. So I'm gonna have positive thoughts towards my consciousness when I die, just in case, you know, I'm
Yeah,
gonna be ready.
yeah. Because like a television to make it that, oh well, a ghost could turn off lights, turn on lights. But if we just take it to the
Yeah.
concept of like your ancestor 10 generations ago, is that essence is still here. Although the
Yeah. It's
bloodline
kind of
is
like the
still here.
Akashic record, bloodline, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
it goes through your bloodline, but I'm saying like past that person still did exist, that they still were here. It's like
mhm.
sometimes when you look at, you might look at light and you close your eyes, that frame is still there. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so the frame of a person essence may still be here. Not that it could
Yeah.
do anything. You see what I'm saying? Not that it has
Yeah.
any
Yeah. Yeah.
power, but it's just still here. Like that light is still there.
Yeah.
It- you know,
And that aspect makes sense. But then it's like everywhere you look, there would be some, like it would be
yeah,
everywhere
but that could be really
in a
true
different
because
realm or something.
yeah, not necessarily like the
Um,
bug that you squashed, that the ant that you
yeah.
killed, not necessarily that is living on and the spiritual crawling on, but it did exist. You know what I'm saying? And the essence of that did
Yeah.
exist. Just like the smoke. The smoke did exist from the actual plant, and now it's still existing, but it's through the smoke. But then once that evaporates, it still existed. And that's where we're
Exactly.
coming from, the existence
Yeah.
of existing. And that's where I think that you might be tapping into, but we just haven't tapped in on that. You know what I'm saying? To remotely
Yeah.
do
And
something.
that's one of my regrets, not, and I could always go back into it, but not now. I know where to inspect more and just the possibilities. But that's one of my regrets, not inspecting more in certain areas. But when I have time, see, my intentions are different now. My intentions are about money, family, and good times. But I will get back to this at another stage of my life. Probably I'll put it out there, maybe teach others, maybe make money doing this, as something on the side, as a hobby, because I'm always interested in the mind and things like that.
Mhm.
But as we talk about this whole thing about, uh, eternal and death and stuff like that, life we know for certain is right now. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
we put everything, all eggs in the basket, and we gotta go for our goals, make our intentions. I was watching this TikTok the other day, with you got TikTok at all?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching this TikTok and they had Kanye West on. It was the one where he's like, Steve Jobs is dead. Like, jive with that because it's always the ones, you know, at the end of their deathbed talking about regrets and things, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like if you believe you're already dead, you know, or you're basically close to death, you know, you have nothing holding you back, you know. So maybe that, you know, he's a billionaire, so and kind of I just took that information in, and you know, it's just that aspect of, you know, live life now, you know, and get what you want. Live life, make your intentions, and basically go get it.
Yeah, yeah,
So that was powerful.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that rings true to a lot of things, and it rings true to a lot of things. The only problem I have is when wealthy people come and try to make it seem so easy. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
As if, you know, like when you like,
Oh yeah.
you know, it's like if you were to listen to an NBA player and they're like, oh well, yeah, yeah, it's enough room for everybody. And you're like, well, dude, it's only 400 seats in the NBA. So what about the 401th person will not have a job in the NBA? They won't be a player. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good they are.
Yeah.
So it's, and even when it comes down to, you know, business, it's only gonna be so many mega wealthy people because that's the way that the system is laid out. You won't get the opportunity that Kanye, you could be very good, but you won't get the opportunities that Kanye got. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Not.
that's where it is that I think that's where we could
Mhm.
and tune into the opportunities, you know, for like yourself, if you were to do any spiritual work, or like you said, work on yourself, being in tune with yourself, like you said, anything is possible that I put my mind to, you
Yeah.
know, from that aspect, and say like, well, I want opportunities to open for oneself. I want these things
Yes.
to happen. You know
Not
what I'm saying?
power.
Yeah, not necessarily, you know, because you can be a millionaire but not be famous. Because, you know,
Yeah.
that's what we look at. A lot of famous people say stuff, but there's way more millionaires out there than it is famous people that's out there.
Most definitely.
You know, that are just living their life on a humble and doing a business. And I totally believe that could be you too. And I believe that that could be other people too. Like you said, put your mind to it and put your focus on it, and those
Yeah.
opportunities will come. You know,
Yep.
yeah.
And
So
you have
yeah.
to assess things, you know, it's like, what do I really want? You know, because obviously, if you're going to be a millionaire, if you want to be a millionaire, you're going to be working a lot. So you have to be dedicated towards doing that. You know, you know, I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to work my ass off every single day. You know, there might be a point where you work, and then you get to relax, you know, after all of your, you know, after you got everything up and running, depending on what you're doing. But, you know, a large part of my life too is just living day by day in happiness, just with my family and doing things that I like to do. Like, I'm already rich in my head. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean
Yeah.
we don't get money, but at the same time, I'm not striving to be a millionaire because that's not what I want. That's not my intent. But for those that are intent on certain things, you know, hey, you want to make 6 figures this year. All right, how am I going to get there? You know, what's my plan? What am I going to do differently? You know, write it all down. It's about being organized too, seeing those goals. You know, seeing is believing. You know, I write down all my stuff. I got a mirror at home and I put all my things on there. I just erased something because I just sold my last Tahoe.
Mhm.
So, you know, and I had that on my board for like a year. And I put the amount that I was going to sell it for on my board. And it just so happens when the time came, I actually got exactly what I wanted and a little bit more because car values went up. But then I erased it on my board. Now it's time to write something new on there. And just keep on, making goals for myself. But I just
Yeah,
follow my intentions that way.
you tapped in on a very important part because what you said about goals, you're like, well, I'm not striving to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
That's not my focus.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean it might not be your focus in the future because of some of the things that you have planned for yourself.
But right now, yeah.
But you tapped in on something that is key because when we listen to people, we already are. You turn on YouTube, you're already looking at a lot of people that hit that success point.
Yeah.
And then they may be a millionaire or almost reaching that point. And then
a lot of them now there with social media, you can young
yeah,
kids.
yeah, it's just so amazing that you look at that and you're like, well, how much does it take? How much do you really put in to be that? Like you said, a lot of people don't understand because they're looking at the post-production. They're looking at the end. They're looking at when it's all said and done. And they're like, oh, wow, I really want to be that. But they not necessarily have what it takes, to do that on a day-to-day just to get those viewers, just to get like an artist, both of us, we've been in performance, in terms of as artistry, that day in, day out consistently, whether it's one person listening to you or 1,000 people listening to you.
Yeah.
It's that consistency that you have to put in every single day to get to where you want to go. And then you talk about something that is real interesting because you may want something real bad. And when you get it, you really realize like, damn, I really didn't want this bullshit. It takes me, you know what I'm saying? It's more that I got to put in that's taken away from the other shit that I was doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
From
you gotta be able to live life happily, and comfortably and so that's a large part of it as well. So it's just about balance and understanding what you want. If you want to go out and get all of it, get all the money, then you got to grind. So you already know what you got to do.
Yeah. It was like I was telling my son because he's like, Dad, I want a Lamborghini. I'm like, oh, you do? Did you think about the insurance? Did you think about the oil change? $1,200 for an oil change. You think about a tire? One tire costs you $500. You think about all that stuff, and you're like, well, every time you jump in your car and ride around, you're depreciating it because you're putting mileage on something like that. Yeah. So then he started to really think about it. And in a sense, because he's young, he still wants it, but at the same time, when he gets it, that's when he's going to say, dang, man, I hate this vehicle because I have to put all this into just something material. And you know what I'm saying? And we as people, we do that. We're working for our materials. And like you said, well, if I don't concentrate on being a millionaire, I could concentrate on being myself. I could concentrate on being a better father. I could concentrate on being a better husband. I could concentrate on being more of who I am, and I think that's the powerful aspect and the most powerful point of everything of you and everybody coming and being in tune with oneself.
Yes, now, I agree, man.
Now we gotta wrap it up. So what do you have to say? And then I want to do this continuously so that we have our spiritual moments and then get people in tune. Yeah. So what do you have to say to the audience? And then we're gonna come back with a part 3,
Yeah. I mean, thanks for having me again. It's great getting an opportunity to kind of speak about myself, the book, because I haven't, again, done this on a platform like this to where just openly speaking. So, it's been a great opportunity, I love talking about this stuff, so I could really do it all day. So in terms of the book, I don't think we'll have to talk about that next time, but next time when we get on, we kind of pull out a topic and we could get together and figure out, what we
Yeah.
want to talk about.
Yeah.
That's spiritually aligned or belief
Mhm.
aligned. But overall, again, just set your intentions on what you want to do, and put a strong, forceful belief behind it. All right. Believe that you can be successful, believe that you can, if you're playing basketball, tell yourself you're gonna have a good game and you're gonna make all the threes. Whatever you're doing, you make your intentions, put the belief, stay organized, write everything down, and you're gonna get everything accomplished that you want to. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you, Marcus Smith. One thing
Appreciate it, Sheik.
before we go, I believe in you. So there you go.
Thank
I believe in you. I believe in your success. I believe that you can continue going, and I believe that you're a great person. You'll continuously do great things. So this is
Thank
the
you.
Black Light
As
Show.
you as well, sir.
Yes, sir. This is the Black Light Show.
Western Psychic Tour. All right, you can get it on Amazon.
Yes, and get the book. Make sure you get the
Check
book.
it out. Check it out.
Yes.
All right. If you want to
and-
reach me at all, feel free
Yeah.
to write my email, keyassociate@hotmail.com. KEYASSOCIATE@hotmail.com.
My man, you did it. There you go. Very good. Man, bless you. You have a blessed day. And I
You
look
too.
forward to our next meeting that we're gonna do probably next week or whenever you have the time. And then
That
we
works.
get on it. And then we get some spirituality and uplift some people, man.
Most definitely. Looking forward to it. Happy holidays, man.
Happy holidays, man. Bless you.
All right. Take it easy.
Peace.